Lawmakers in Albany, they have made changes in recent years to the state's parole system, but the push for even more reform still continues tonight. And as we celebrate Black History Month, we spoke to a defense attorney who highlights the difficulties that people of color who have been incarcerated can face. Here's 2 on your side's Claudine Ewing.
Black History Month is more than celebrating. It's about looking at issues impacting people of color. That's why hundreds attended this virtual event focusing on parole justice and elderly parole in New York State. 55% of the roughly 30,000 people currently incarcerated in New York prisons are Black. Only 18% of the overall population in the state is Black. 77% of those in prisons are people of color.
People of color are disproportionately in prison, and then when it comes to parole, they're going back.
Most of my clients are Black or people of color, and it's just as difficult as it is for those individuals to get a normal job even when they haven't been to prison, or to survive in a society even when they haven't been to prison. They have all of those same struggles, but then they're multiplied by having to reintegrate into society.
But he says New York is making changes.
One of the biggest things that has happened recently is that they are not incarcerating people for what are called technical violations. So in other words, if somebody that hasn't committed a crime maybe violates their curfew by showing up too late, or neglects to tell their parole officer that they've received a speeding ticket, something along those lines, they're not necessarily going to be locked up right away.
And then there are the elderly.
So I lived for 40 years inside prison system. I can tell you all the horrors, the stories of redemption, and there's so many elders in there that's waiting for an opportunity to come home and give back to the community.
He was granted clemency. It can work, but be realistic.
It needs to be understood that someone who's been in jail for maybe 10 years or more is going to make a mistake, or is going to have some fallbacks because they're not used to society.
Claudine Ewing, Channel 2 News.